I am both extremely excited and yet terrified to play The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion today. The Elder Scrolls means everything to me. It is by far my favorite franchise. It represents something in my childhood through adulthood. Although I've only ever played the two games, Oblivion and then Skyrim, that I've ever wanted from a game ever. So it's got fantasy elements. We're living our best lives. We are able to do whatever we want, however we want. There's 8,000 different choices, and I am here for every single one of them. I'm playing Oblivion for the first time with a keyboard, though, and so that's kind of what makes me a little nervous, though it's not kind of like an end of the world situation. So I will live, I will move on. And of course, as a game that came out in, I think, 2006, it's kind of dated, right? It's a little old, but I wouldn't change any of it for any reason ever. And so with that, we're getting into it right now. So Oblivion Elder Scrolls, take us away. Damn, you would have died a long time ago. I'm gonna be honest, I have never watched the full opening sequence. I was too excited to play as a kid. Like, I had to get somebody to go buy the game for me because of its mature rating. My mom was like, fine, like, but you have to go get it yourself. And I was like, I can't. I really can't. I still think it looks good. Okay, I think it looks phenomenal for what it is, and for all the things that it can do, I'm willing to look past some of the graphical issues. If Starfield is going to be anything like this, if The Elder Scrolls 6, when, if it may or may not release in 2025 beyond, you'll you'll know where to find me. And where do we find ourselves but in a prison? Lo and behold, ourselves, once again, a prisoner. It's always so interesting how they find ways for you to start. And there we are. What I mean by start, though, is the fact that you are always some kind of person that is in an unfortunate circumstance. We're going to give ourselves a cute little name. We have to pick a race. I think we'll play as male. The races, if you've never played Oblivion before, do have like a small factor in what you do, but at like the same time, it's not the end of the world. I like playing as a Breton personally. They have like a resistance to magic, and also they're like really good at it. So I'm a big magic fan. Um, can I turn you? Yes, I can. Um, not all of these hairstyles were hits, but they do get used in the game, so that's quite all right. I think I've just always used like the natural style, the one that's called natural, and then you can just shorten it. It's like, oh, there it is. I think I might have also used loose, but I'm going to use natural today. I do like how you can pick whatever color you want, though. I think that's always fun. You could have just been a pure redhead, and that really screams, "I'm gonna kill you." Or you could do something else. Um, I think they've done it best though, and we can just pick a color that kind of works for a preset. I wouldn't classify myself as a blonde, so we're not gonna go with that. I also feel like sometimes when games create blonde, it's too yellow. This is way too yellow. I think we're gonna just stick with that. Um, we I'm not as young as I used to be though. I'm not a spry 18-year-old anymore though. So I'll move ourselves up. Interestingly, as you get older, your face becomes more rounded. That's okay. And we can go in either direction here. I'm not that pale. I think that's it. Yes, I am sure that's me. If you, um, if you've ever played the Elder Scrolls before, you know that before the, um, before the Emperor and the guards come, if you actually jump in this corner, and I don't know how to jump, so this is all a guess for me. Um, I'm not even sure what I'm doing there. If you stand in this corner, you can actually just up your sneak skill because the game is completely independent of its skill stats versus everything else. And you can stay here. You can stay here for hours uh, until you master that skill, and that's because the sneak skill only goes up when you're in stealth and no one can see you, which is shown by the crosshair not being lit up, but there has to be somebody around. And if there's nobody around, then it doesn't count. But technically, I'm only saying this because like I've done this a million times, but technically, there's a person like that's been loaded in across that's supposed to like insult you, and then technically the prisoner, the prison guard, the blades, the emperor, they are. I don't know if they're loaded in yet, but they're basically on the staircase and they're close enough that it technically counts. We're not gonna spend hours and hours and hours here, but I thought it was just an interesting little note. I'm trying to figure out how to do anything though, if I'm being quite honest with all of y'all. Oop. Okay, so circle kind of just does like a walk. How do I? Okay, I can get to the save menu. Okay, it seems I have saves from 2022 that I don't recall at all, but that is okay. Uh, it doesn't think today is 2022, so that's good. If we also look at the controls, we can see that I have some information here. Okay, left alt. Interesting. That's a way to attack. F9 to block, it's so far away. But I don't know what all the other things are. Z is to cast, F is to ready a weapon. Running is R. What does Q do? Quick load. Okay, well we don't want to do that. That should be switched with quick save. I don't want to quick load. Auto move. That's a cute one. I don't understand it, but okay. I actually think I'm going to switch casting with auto move. I feel like that's more accurate. Ease to jump. Again, just really weird for me, if I'm being quite honest with you. I've never played on the keyboard, but that's okay. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna change that to Y. That way, if I ever need to block, it's within arm's reach, and I'm not struggling to block. And I think we're good. I wonder though if what I accidentally loaded, if I did anything different. No, still the same name. Lower health. How dare I? But yeah, plenty of things to do, plenty of things to get resolved. We can also see our skills in here, like the sneak skill. Where is it? Like, it's leveled up a few times just because we've been sitting here in the corner. I'm gonna have to get used to that though. But we'll figure it out. Nope, that's how you punch. Clicking also punches. Now I just need to stand up. That is how you jump. That is how you pull out your fists. But I can block with the right button too. But I need to be able to stand. How do I leave the standing mode? Well, the sneak mode. Caps! Okay, that's weird, but I can do that. Hello, my friend. It wouldn't be a fantasy role playing game if they didn't start off with just some simple racism. Depending on what race you pick, depends on what what happens, or more specifically, what this guy says. But if you're an evil kind of person, don't worry, you get to come back and kill him later. What is the jump button? Ooh. Still getting used to this like auto move kind of stuff. That's quick saving. Okay, that's jumping. Hello? Let me out. Hello? Yes, your job is to get the Emperor to safety. Let's have this thing move along a little bit, shall we? Yes, yes. At least there's like a level of intellect, like, oh, this cell is never meant to be used because it's supposed to be the Emperor's escape route. Yeah, we've seen you before the opening credits. No, don't look. I can't. Ooh, I was in your dreams. I could be a consort. I could be Empress. What's going on? Oh, but if everybody's dead. But who are you? In Skyrim, you are not my emperor. Besides the fact that it's long past, you got taken over by the elves. But why am I in jail? It gives you like plausible deniability. It's like, why are you actually here? And no one knows. No one has any clue. But what should I do? I'll find my own path. There are certain choices you make in this game that do affect things, and there's certain dialogue options that just do not matter in the slightest. What's also interesting is if you notice that when I have my cursor over certain characters, if they have like this crown icon, it means they're marked as essential by the game, and therefore they cannot die. If you attack them and you try to hurt them, um, that's all well and good. They'll go down, but they'll like drop down onto their like knee and then get back up. Characters with the circular symbol that just looks like, "Hey, I can talk to you," like her. Bye. Um, are not essential and therefore can die. I will punch you to death. Can I take everything you've owned? You can also take some of the stuff here, but when you take some of these things, you actually, when you leave the dungeon, you don't get to keep them. I've never understood why. Like, you found them, but 'tis what it is. I also need to get into the menu again. I'm learning. We're all learning here. Um, to get into the menu and just learn how to change our spells. I hope I don't have to keep coming in here to click them. Um, but that'll become more useful later. Yes, yes, you're going on without me. You don't love me. But I do like a little bit of fire magic. Uh, I will take everything that I possibly can get. This is one of those games where you just want a piece of literally everything. Don't leave anything behind. Um, and in fact, take it all where you can. I don't know what kind of character we're going to play as yet, because you can be whatever you want. You can you can try to do it all. You can do just one thing. It's really up to you. However, while we're here, we can do a few different things. I can ignore the tutorial for the most part, but we might check out certain things. We've got, a shield now, we've got some pants, we're still wearing these cuffs, which I guess you can just take off. That gives us quite the look, We're looking a little cute right now. We can also equip certain weapons, right? And we can see how much damage they do. For the most part, I don't know if we'll be like a physical kind of person. And that's fine. I usually play as a magic character, but, anything is open to interpretation. The one thing to note, though, is if we decide to be a magic person, we have to be careful about the type of armor we equipped. So you'll notice that, like, I took the shield off, and it went from 80 to 87% effectiveness. So if the spell does normally 6 damage, it's now only going to do, like, about 5. And that's because it's trying to, like, balance out, like, oh, you want to do magic? Well, you can't be heavily defended. But if you do things right, if you enchant the right things and you collect the right stuff, you don't ever have to worry about that ever in your entire life. We will, however, hold on to both the sword right now, just because it's a good thing to have if they get too close. But you can still cast spells, even if you're wielding a weapon. So we'll keep on keeping on. Oh, you terrified me. There's gotta be a way for me to like take all automatically, but I'm just not used to it. One of the other things that I really enjoyed about this game that I'm gonna talk about quite a bit is just the fact that every little thing has an impact on what you do. So, you get all these skills, okay? And these skills are beautiful because there's so many of them. And we'll get a little bit more specialist into this right now, but each of these spells level up independently of one another, and it depends on how often you use them. But you'll also notice that every single spell has a level. Every skill has a level. And so if you see, all of my skills are currently marked as novice, and that's because I don't know a lot of stuff, and that's okay. But as you reach increments of 25, so 25, 50, 75, 100, you get a new ability or something special that you wouldn't normally be able to do. So, for example, I think with most of the magic spells, as you go up in level, you use less like mana, magic points, magicka, as it's called in this game. But for things like light armor, or for things like heavy armor, when you level it up, it's not that the armor just magically becomes better, but it's like, oh, it doesn't have such an impact on your fatigue, or, it doesn't have a penalty against magic. I think, and with things like speechcraft and security, like it does more. Hello, little rat. I missed. But it all works out the same way. In Oblivion, the other really cool thing is that there's an encumbrance level. I play Dungeons and Dragons, and so in the more serious campaigns, what I'm doing right now is less serious. Although with all the hijinks, there's an encumbrance level, so I can only carry up to 200 pounds of equipment, and I'm pretty full right now. So I might have to start getting rid of some things. But the game's kind of setting us up for some success right now, and I'm not going to look a gift in the face. There should be... Oh. Why are you running? You're ignoring me completely. Don't do it. Don't come near me. Thank you very much. Rude. But I'll take it all. Give me all your money. I'll take every single bit of it. And I'm just gonna live for it. Is it over here? I could have swore that in one of these little pockets there's like a little bag for you to grab stuff out of. Is it right here or over here? I guess not. My memory is failing me. Now, every enemy you fight in the game has its own, like, perception. I don't want to call it a skill, but, like, depending on how close you are and, like, whether you're attacking or if you're in sneak mode, will affect whether or not it can detect you. There's a way in the game where if you really want to break it, you can enchant your equipment to just make you completely invisible permanently. But I think that just adds to the charm of the game. Like if you know how to use the system, you can really take advantage of it. Uh, Hello. I think, yep, there's rats down here. We're gonna find like some cheese or something over there, if I remember correctly. Hello. And then there's a few more areas to go through, and then we'll be free. For a really long time, I didn't understand how this worked. So when you get introduced to it, it's like, oh, move the tumblers up and press a button to like lock it into place. And I was like, great, I can do that. But it also gave you like another option. Now I was playing on the Xbox 360, so it was the A button, which is the left click here, and there was the X button, which does the auto attempt. And so when you auto attempt, it just attempts to do them all at once. You don't have to even touch the mouse, just click the button. But I didn't know that. And so for a really long time, I would have breaking picks because that's just not how it works. Let's see. So we've got the money down here. We've got some extra things like this rusty shield. I wish I could just click to pick everything up, but I guess you can only do what you can only do. I don't need the bones, but I think picking this up is going to make me over encumbered. So now I can't do a few things. So when you're over encumbered, you can't move in this game, and you also can't fast travel, and you can't really do anything but stand in place. And so we have to get rid of a few things. The question is, how do I do that? Put some clothes on, buddy. We are going to figure it out, though. It's going to be a button. Do I drag it? Do I right-click it? That's how you quick save? I mean, I want to drop the Warhammer anyway, but... Or maybe some of these bones. Hello? How do I drop you? Okay, that's not it. We're just going to press every single button and see what happens. Oh, that's how you reach the magic menu. That's good to know. But how do I drop the bone? I'm totally aware that I can't equip the bone. Hello? I don't know what I just did, but... Oh, that like takes it out of the cursor mode. Oh, that's helpful. But how do I get rid of you? I can't believe this is a serious thing. I don't understand how to drop it. But that is why Google's our friend, unlike in 2006, where you just kind of had to figure it out yourself. How to drop items from inventory. PC. Oblivion. It's definitely going to be something so simple, like click on the icon or whatever. Hold down the shift and then left click on the item. I never would have thought of that. And as you can see, as we drop things, the number goes down. Almost every item in the miscellaneous section is going to be useless to us. Like, we don't need a paint palette. It'll never do anything for us. The torches, the lockpicks, sure. But everything else, not really. Another thing we can do is we can eat stuff. But for right now, we just need to get rid of enough stuff to keep walking on. I don't need this club. All right, we're good to go. Maybe I do get to keep the Warhammer after all. Making our way downtown. We don't need the rusty axe. And so we'll move on. You can also put stuff in containers like that chest. Excuse me. But because you don't own it, it's not your space, it will, of course, not permanently stay there. As after a while, containers will regenerate their inventory, and so anything that's in it will be lost. Hello, money. Hello? Anybody home? What do we think this is keeping up? See, we finally found. I told you there was one on the side. It just was further on than I thought. We could also probably be sneaking right now if I can just remember how to. Oh, caps. You can see now that the crosshair like becomes a little eye, and you know as I get closer to this rat, when it notices me, it becomes solid. But we can get our sneak skill up a little bit. We can also go a little slower. Actually, this is just like full tilt running. There's got to be a way to go slower. On the, what's the word I'm looking for? On the console, it let you do that. Though I don't know how it works here. I guess we'll just live on. Maybe we just won't be a sneaky boy. We might not be able to. Here's an example again of something that has no value besides a few coins. But almost everything you see can be touched. Almost everything you see can be searched. Like even these mushrooms that are just living their best life here can be harvested. It doesn't change the way they look, but if we do find something, it'll say it at the top. Like, hey, you found, etc. Now that we know how to hotkey things, we can now navigate that kind of space. You do not auto-regenerate your health. You do need to heal yourself. That's okay. There's going to be a goblin up ahead. Or maybe in the next section there is. We're not finding anything of good use, though. Alchemy is one of the very easiest ways to make a lot of money. At level 100, for alchemy skill, you can create potions using a singular ingredient. And so when you do something like that, it's gotta be, if you hold shift, you go really slow. It shifts between walking and running. So when you walk slower, they're less likely to locate you. But going back to the little cheat code, if you, you can have that. It'll come to me, I promise. If you are a master alchemist, you have the ability to making potions out of one ingredient, and therefore, as long as you have a lot of ingredients, you can just make a bunch of potions. In fact, there's a location called Skingrad. It's the name of a town, a city. And they have a vineyard there. And so in one go-round, you can collect about 100 grapes. And that will enable you to very easily and very quickly make 100 potions that you can sell for like 40 each. One of the things I didn't love that they did in the transition between this game, The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the fourth one, and Skyrim, the fifth one in the series, was they made alchemy like a static thing. So you had to be at a station for you to be able to do alchemic work. But in this game, you can do alchemy wherever you are. You don't have to do it elsewhere. And here you can put things together. If you don't know what ingredients go together, though, it doesn't tell you. You have to either figure it out or make a few mistakes. With food, the easiest thing is almost all of them restore fatigue. That's going to be really important for other groups, but not really for us. And as you do things with equipment, you unlock new items. So we've got a few different things here, but we'll move on for now. It's not as important as it seems for right now. Hello? Okay, now if we look closely, there's actually a tripwire right here. But unfortunately, I was not quiet enough. That's okay, it happens. The good news is we didn't come running full tilt into this room to attack, because we can also be hit, of course, by the traps and therefore take us out really easily. Ooh, still getting used to our controls here, but I'll get around to it. Let's see. We've got a dead rat, probably killed by the goblin from before. But an area where we can use traps to our advantage are those logs we just saw. I'll get over to them in a second, but basically there's some goblins down at the bottom over there, and they, of course, are not expecting somebody to touch their precious items, nor are they expecting us to just drop a bunch of timber onto them. Of course, they can see us now because we stood too close to the light, and yeah, that's a thing. But if it hits them, they're dead, and we have less to worry about. You tried to shoot me! Rude. Thank you for all of your items. I do not need your ugly mace. We're moving on. Okay. I think it's actually easier to pick the locks on the computer. At least for right now. We'll see when they get harder. This area is going to be like the home of our little goblins. We're really just collecting right now because we need to make sure that we have stuff to sell for later. There's going to be a bunch of them. There's one in the paddock over there. There should be one like doing a little dance. And if I remember, there's one over there that's doing like a spell. It has a staff, so staffs aren't weapons in this game as in the same way that you would imagine you'd be able to thunk somebody over the head with it, but all the same. We're going to switch on over to our bow, and you do get sneak damage if you hit them without noticing you. Now, of course, it knows I'm here. But that's okay. Not the end of the world. The real problem is the spellcaster. But that's okay. We have a good chance of not dying. You'll also notice that it used a spell, which is a piece of alteration magic. And it basically added like a defense to its body. But because this is not a turn-based game or one that has like a level of rails to it, you can easily just step out of the way and dodge it. There's gravity in this game too, which is why I keep missing this poor little rat. Oh, you've seen me, have you? It's all right. I will get you and all of your pretties. Is there? So we've got the staff. It's worth a lot of money. So, of course, we're going to keep it. I don't think we're going to need to keep on some of these items, though. You can see how much an item is worth. Like, and it's kind of like a car. Like, when you go to buy a car, it's got a, like, MSRP value. Like, that's what the market retail value price is. But when you go to sell it, it's going to be less than that. And so we don't need to keep every item we find, especially if it's not worth it. And so we've got to free up some space, but I digress. Now, soul gems are useful because they can be used to recharge magical items. They can also be used to enchant things. Now, we're very far away from being able to enchant our own things right now, but that doesn't mean that we don't got a shot. Another thing that I like about Oblivion that I kind of was upset that they ran away. I'm going to say they ran away from it. In Skyrim was more about like weapon fatigue, not like a person like swinging their hammer, but like keeping up your equipment. So you can see that like each of our items has this kind of durability. It's not the same thing as like The Legend of Zelda, like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, where once it hits 0, it breaks, but it basically is useless. You can't use it until you repair it. And you can use you can collect these repair hammers to fix things. So if I try to repair, my boots, it worked. But unfortunately, there's like a random number generator probability matrix involved where every time you use a repair hammer, there's a chance it can break. And so you need to like constantly collect them. Unless of course you're at the master level, which then will give you the ability to just need one hammer for the rest of your days. The same thing is, I believe, true for the lockpick. I don't remember if making you a master just makes it easier to do things, or if it makes it unbreakable. I feel like it doesn't make you unbreakable. You need the skeleton key for that. But, we like easier locks. I did it again. Thank you. I have to get used to the button not being the same thing. Obviously, you have much more limited options on a console controller, and so the A button on an Xbox 360 controller both activates, as the game calls it, and like attacks, which isn't the end of the world. Okay, we're just moving on. We're gonna rejoin our brethren, well, I mean, they're not our brethren. They think we're a prisoner. But the Blades who are protecting the Emperor, we're kind of gonna rejoin up with them in a second. And we still have to decide what kind of person we're gonna be. Let's see. We don't need a second one of these. We don't need this. Just, trying to create some space. There's no like benefit to being like super under encumbered, like walking around with like 2 pounds versus 200 pounds. As long as you can carry it. But what does affect your sneak skill is your ability of what you're currently wearing. So if you're wearing things that are really heavy, the chance of being detected are a lot higher. There's got to be a way to cancel your attack, no? Nope. Hello, it's me again. No, don't kill me. I didn't do it. Hello? See, you gotta listen to good old Uriel. It's because you're a seer, but I don't trust prophets. Also, you can tell that this man is like hella old. So, he's putting us on the spot. He's like, what are your religious views? I don't really think about a god in general, let alone 9 of them. So, we'll rely on your convictions, Emperor. You tell me what's what. And now we're talking astrology, except not the astrology that we are used to. So they are using the Arcanum here to kind of ask what you've been born under. This is like a common thing in the Elder Scrolls. But unlike in Oblivion, where you're just activating like a sigil that gives you a boost, this is a permanent boost that you can only select one time. You can't change it. I do like how they changed that in Skyrim, but I kind of like the ability of you're locking yourself in a little bit. And so there's a few different ones. It just depends on what you have an interest in. There's ones that only give you good stuff, right? If you pick the warrior, you get +10, to your strength and endurance scores. But if you pick something like the apprentice or the tower, or the atronach, it's called, you get something really great out of it, but at the same time, you lose a little bit. And it's a little harder to play when you pick one of those. Like for this one, you regain your magicka over time in this game, which wasn't a thing in Morrowind, to my understanding. But you do absorb it, but you get a whole bunch more magic to use from. Uh, I'm gonna probably say we're gonna go with, something that's like a little bit in the middle. Um, but picking ones like the tower aren't always the best. Um, because like this one gives you the ability to unlock any object once a day for that's average level. But once you become a high enough level, everything's going to be hard or very hard to unlock. So it kind of becomes useless. Um, we can pick, something else though. Um, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick something like the Thief. Always great to have agility, speed, and luck. It's not something that normally goes up. It's not where we're going to focus all of our scores. And it's not like in the long term, at least in this game, people aren't going to be like, oh, you are born under the Thief. You must be quite the rogue. They don't do that in this game, but I'll take it. I'll take the bonus. But no matter what, just like in regular astrology, you can read it into anything you want. And so our emperor here is like, who would have thought that exact sign is the thing that will kill me? We're gonna we're gonna be great. You're really calm for somebody who's about to die. So basically, you're about to die. Which is funny because everybody else is like, I don't know. But what are the blades, Sir Boris? We're his bodyguards. We do whatever he tells us to do. Moving on. Come on, go. I don't care about you that much. We won't see you probably for another 3 streams. Also, you didn't take the sword back yet. They do take the sword back because it's like their captains. Hello. If you're fast, and what by fast I mean like quick about moving your character, you can actually see that the enemies are loaded in, but they don't move until they get close enough. See, this time I was helpful. I knew what I was doing. The good news is, when the Emperor dies, it's not like they assume you killed him. So, there's wins. There's small wins everywhere you can go. Yes, there's more people that want to kill your mans. But we're more focused on the money. We're more focused on the ability to jump that I forgot how to do. Thank you for your money. They're all essential. None of them can die right now, so it's fine. Yes, the Emperor is still in danger, my bruh. Nothing here, nothing here. Moving on. Come on, everybody. One thing that I definitively hate about one aspect of this game is when you are with companions, when you are with people on a quest, an escort quest, you have a follower, whatever. In general, if you do not wait for everybody to pass through their door, through the loading screen, forget about it. You have to go back, you have to wait for them, you have to figure out what's going on. They hardly ever show up together. And it's just very annoying. Hello? Anybody up there? At least they have reasons why there's light. But, like, who hasn't fallen through that yet? It's a dead end! Perhaps there'll be something over here. It's another dead end, Boris. We're gonna die! A little quicker, if you'll please, though. I would really appreciate it. Good luck! Excuse me, I don't do what you tell me to do. I was born. I was born to watch him die. He can go no further. He knows that his life is at an end. And look at that. You took it off. You gave it right to me. Your final son? You have a secret son? Name dropping the name of the campaign. I mean, game. Excuse me. Oh, this guy's tough. That was just rude. So you can't search the Emperor, in case you were wondering. So if you're wondering why I haven't stolen his clothes, that's why. But that's okay. I'll live on. You failed. Yes, you did. You literally left a prisoner alone with him. I could have done it. I have it. The Emperor entrusted me with something worth 1,000 gold hymns. Because all the gold has his face on it. Yeah, but we are not the dragon. It's not just jewelry. The amulet has power. And that's also why they tell you, like, you can't wear it. He's like, oh, only people who have the blood can wear it. There is another heir. And now he's just telling us kind of how to get there. But before we do that, we get to do kind of something like in Dungeons and Dragons and make a class. They have a bunch of pre-made classes here in the game. So you can pick whatever you want, or you can make your own. And so this choice is very important because you, again, cannot change it. But the reason why this one is so important is because it affects how you level up. So far we're at level 1, and the way the game levels you up is a little bit different. It's not based on experience, it's based on the usage of your skills. So you'll see that for each of these different things, there is, some like specialization, which is like what area gets like the best stat boost, favorite attributes, which are like out of your core 6 or 7 like attributes have like higher skills, but then your major skills are the things you plan to use. It's what you will use to level up. And so if I decide to be a battle mage, the only way I can level up my character is using these 7 skills. I can still level up my other skills. I can use them all I want. But the only way to contribute to the ability to level up, at least to my understanding, is you have to level up your major skills. Usually, right, I'd be happy to pick something like sorcerer or mage, because like we love the magic, we live for it. But always I'm making a custom class. I'm always thinking like, what am I want to using? And so, even if we decide that we're going to be a magic person, we can still boost up some of our other stats to start, or we can do something different. I do think we're going to do the magic route though, and that of course means that we have to pick skills that support our ability for our magic to go up. So far we're kind of like living the best life here for the mage skill, but we're not going to pick every single item where the mage skill is. Like certain things to help us level up better. Like alchemy is going to be a big one. It's going to make us money. It's going to give us a lot of benefits. It's going to heal us a lot. Is what we want to do. Another one that's really interesting that I'm going to pick is acrobatics. Acrobatics is a super easy way to level up because all you do whenever you're going anywhere, you just keep jumping. You're going to see me jump the entire time we're playing. And that's because it's such an easy skill to get to 100. Also, it's an Elder Scrolls game, right? So not everything is perfect. Not everything is bound boxed like it should be. So there are certain areas that you can get to if you're a really good jumper, and that's important. In terms of like other things we can do, right, we could pick Armorer. That's where we use that little repair hammer. Also, look at that little rainbow. But we also might want to think through what else we want to do. Illusion magic will be great in the long run because it can make us invisible, right? But we might not need to like master it to be good, like to do it. The skills for me at least that I'm not like obsessed with to pick include things like the armor skill, because it only goes up if you get hit. We're trying not to get hit. Um, you know, if we're gonna do destruction magic, that means we need to really focus in on it. We got to use destruction magic for everything. In fact, I think one time I played as like a warrior style character, and I picked the warrior class, I guess is what you would call it, and it took forever to level up because no matter what I did or how I did it, I just wasn't using all of those skills all the time, and therefore it was horrible. In terms of picking our remaining 5, I always am going to pick these 2. Thinking through what else we can do will affect what we do. So maybe we'll do sneak, but I know that we're going to be picking a lot of locks. Unless, of course, we specialize in alteration magic, which has spells that open them. If we get the skeleton key, the skill kind of has no purpose because the lockpick will never break. But those are some of our choices that we can figure out. We can do speechcraft, but again, just because it's a good skill doesn't mean that it should be our major skill, especially if we're really trying to level up. I think beyond this, I'm probably going to pick Armorer because it is an easy skill to level up for the level. Beyond that, like I would pick Athletics, but the problem is if we're jumping all the time, we're not running all the time. And so that means we're kind of like splitting our path here on it. I do think we should pick Illusion Magic though, because not only does it will allow us to see, but being invisible is like hella important for me at least. I think we're also going to do. I'm so torn. Like this is the part where you can help. We've got a few. I never block. I don't earlier on stream I was like, let me set the block button. I never used it, so I don't even know why I talked a big game. I think we're gonna use bows and arrows a lot for this playthrough. If we're gonna be sneaky, like we're kind of like trying to be in the middle of like a magic assassin. I think that's what we're trying to do. So we've got some like skills to make money. We've got skills to move around, hide, and then I gotta pick what, one more? 3, 4, 5. Oh, we gotta pick 2 more. So maybe we'll do something like, sneak and security. Those are things that we could level up pretty quickly too. Although we will get the ability to basically never have the issue of breaking a lock once we get the skeleton key, it still levels up even if you don't do it successfully. Now for the name of the class, we could call it so many different things. We could call it a hexblade. We could call it a, spell slinger. We could call it something. But today we're going to call it, I don't know. I just blanked. I mean, we could just put adventurer back. But did I spell it right? Spelling was my least proficient subject in school. I feel like we could think of something like cute, something that, like it doesn't really matter in the long run. But I'm just trying to think of something. Thinking of like a ranger for magic. Arcane ranger. It doesn't fit. We could do something like arcanist. Oop, that's not how you spell, see? And we'll move on from there. The class has been created. It gets added to the list. But the game does give you a chance to be like, oh, do something else. No, we're just going to do that. It's fine. Goodbye. And then you see the sword left my hand. He's reclaimed the sword. Why? I'll never know, but they just take it. The Amulet of Kings slips off you as you try to fasten it around your neck. You just can't wear it. It's one of those key items that you can't get rid of until you get rid of it. But let us make sure we've got everything else we need. We've got arrows, we've got equipment, we've got lovely items, and we're good to go. And if we come into our stats section now, those 7 skills we picked are right here at the top now. And also because we've become apprentices, we should have unlocked a few more abilities. Some of these abilities are great, right? Soothing Touch, calm up to level 2 for 15 seconds. But the problem is, once I become level 2, this does not scale. So anything I fight that's at level 3 is useless. But illusion will lead to invisibility, and that is something I can get behind. We are also going to assign this here, and then we also have a greater power ability, which we can use once per day. It's kind of like that Dungeons and Dragons mechanism, that tabletop role-playing game mechanism where certain things you can only use once a day. But that's okay. I think we're good. Bye, guy. Did your friend die? I don't really care. So we're going to just keep on going, finding our way. You know, now that this side is, done, it opens without a problem. And we move on, but not before missing out on our treasure. And now the game kind of is like, you're on your own, go. It lets you kind of try out your abilities. This is still technically part of the tutorial, but there's no guidance. It's just go. We can sneak, we can make our way down, we can also light it up. We can just say, hi, I need a light, and make a light on us. That rat is dead. Should be another one down here. Oh, it's a goblin. Don't even think about it. Thank you for all your money. If you play this game on the appropriate brightness setting, which I guess there technically isn't one because the game doesn't say, hey, set your brightness setting, but I haven't changed it. I didn't make mine any higher or lower than it needs to be, but I'm lit up right now, right? I'm glowing. If I wasn't, everything would be that dark. I would miss things. Like this chest. And I don't like to miss things. The spell does not last forever, though. And so at the corner, you can see, hello, coin, that it does run out. Excuse me. Thank you. You're just taking a nap, I know. We can fall in the water. There's no box that's saying, oh, you can't go here, you can't do this. But it's still open. And you can take any approach you want. We're not being extra sneaky, but we are at least potentially getting our sneak up here. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't. Another rat. Thank you for your patronage. And now this is kind of where the tutorial ends. So once I make it into that other tunnel, it's going to say, hey! Is there anything you want to change? This is your basically last chance. And so it's saying, before you leave, is there anything that you want to change? I think we're pretty good with where we're at right now. So I don't feel like we need to change anything, but that goes our last shot. What a lot of people would do, I would imagine, would be to save right before they click that. So that way, if they ever want to start a new character, they don't have to struggle and figure out what's what. As you can tell, the game, from this perspective, is a little dated. I do need to turn on the setting to render distant trees, though. That seems to have not been selected on. But that's okay. We're only going to pay attention to what's in our foreground. We've got a whole world to explore. and it's really just ours for the taking. So all of this whole thing, from start to finish, is places that we can go. It's kind of shaped a little bit like Africa, where like it's kind of like an L with a bump on the top. And there are all these different places. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know that fast traveling was a thing. If you're unfamiliar with the concept of fast traveling, you've probably been living under a rock. Okay? You can go to places automatically that you have been to. Okay? And when I found out about it, I was like, wow, that's wonderful. But, in Oblivion, for whatever reason, and I'm not really complaining, you by default can go to any town that you even if you've never been there. All of these massive cities are places that you can immediately fast travel to, which I think is fantastic. In Skyrim, you had to manually go to every place, which I think is a better way. Like, if you maybe as part of Oblivion were to select like what city you're from, like I could get it. Like, oh, you've been there before, you grew up there. There's history. But your character can go to any of the major cities right away. However, it wouldn't be an Elder Scrolls game if we automatically just started to do the main storyline, and so that's not what we're gonna do. What we can also see on the map is there are at the bottom we can see that there's a lot of little icons on our little compass. The icon that we're walking towards right now is a like a cave. Caves have, cute little things in them. Excuse me. Oh, you're a little tougher than I thought you would be. But, as you find them, you can then, of course, fast travel to them later. Thank you for your death. We're also playing on a medium difficulty, which is the standard difficulty, so things won't die immediately, but that's okay. That's all right. We found Sideways Cave, where we found an imp. And of course, we can go in this cave. We can do a whole bunch of things, but right now we're just kind of exploring. I'm trying to get my bearings on all these controls again. But every location you go to has some kind of story. Something died here. Something might be in there. But again, not an immediate thing that we have to run towards or do at this exact moment. Of course, there are guilds for you to join. When you play Oblivion, you can be in every guild. You can do everything you want. And I think that's awesome. But at the same time, there isn't really a consequence between one another. And I do like the ability of being able to select. Come on, you little deer. You're tougher than you look. Do you need to be charred a little bit? Is that what it is? Thank you for Ragdoll Physics. This is also the Game of the Year edition. So what that means is it comes with all the downloadable content. This is the first game I ever bought downloadable content for, having only had just recently getting the internet after buying this game. And there's a few really great options. One of the options, why are we not swimming? One of the things opens in a whole nother world. Something you probably should do after you've played a little bit of the game. And then there's silly ones like getting armor for your horse. I don't think that has ever been useful for anybody ever, but all choices, all options. I'm just so not used to this. I wonder if it's just because distant trees aren't on, or maybe something's off. But moving on. We are going to do a few things. I think we need to head into the market and sell some of the stuff that we found. It does appear to be nighttime though, so the probability of somebody being available to sell things to could be low. Uh, because this is the Imperial City, there's big there's big areas, and because we're not a journeyman like a mid-leveled salesperson, we can't just sell any item to any shopkeep, which is something I like about this game. We're in like a general store, so they have like a little bit of everything, but we might not be able to sell just about anything we want. We can haggle, we can try to make some money, but at the same time, like we're really just trying to get rid of some of our stuff. We don't need all of this, and it's really just weighing us down. You can also see that as I sell some of these items, that this character, Thorinir, only has 800 gold pieces at max. It's not the same thing where, like, in Skyrim, like, once you sell, there's a certain amount of money that gets transitioned between, or like in the Fallout series, they just always hit 800, but if you try to sell something above 800, they'll say, oh, the best I can do is 8. Not really sure why that's a thing, but it is. And later on, as you buy and sell things, you can invest in businesses, and they will have more money. But of course, they have to like you. And that brings us to a lovely Speechcraft window. I'm sure this started out as a great idea, but very easily it devolved into a silly little mini game. And so the way it works is we have this wheel behind us. You can make an admiring statement, a joke, you can coerce them a little bit, or you can boast about something to get them to like you a little bit more. But what they don't tell you, at least maybe in the tutorial they do, but I've never paid attention, is that you have to do each of them to exit the minigame. And so based on their facial reactions depends on what you want to do. So Thorinir likes, loves to be admired and kind of likes being coerced, but he hates jokes and he's not like great about it. So if we, do the low things first, we really didn't get as far as we'd like to. But we could do something a little bit more functional later on by doing something like that. And if you do it right, and you don't always, but if you do it right, you can get the number to go higher. There's a limit. There's like a maximum amount of times that you can do the game in a row. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. So we've started off a little higher now with Thorinir, and technically his prices would be a little bit better. You can also haggle with them, okay? But that's based on whether they like you or not, what your skill is, and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything else we can give you before we head on out? We've got a lot of items, and so we can just sell you them. You really don't need all of these things. They're just ways to make money. And you can have this bone for free, I promise. You can just have it. Chameleon is an invisibility spell, but it's not the same thing as being truly invisible. So you can see that this is only Chameleon for up to 25%. It's not like 25% of your body. It's just like it lowers the chance of people being able to see you. Kind of like you're blended in a background, like a glamour or like some other magical term, but it's not the same as true invisibility. But when you're under a chameleon effect, you can still interact with things. If you use a true invisibility spell, which makes you 100% non-perceptible, at least visually, once you touch something, it's game over. The invisibility drops. If you go through the Mage Guild quests and you access the Arcane University where you can enchant things, you can enchant 5 different items with a grand soul gem, with a grand soul in it, and each of those do 20%, and it does accumulate into 100%. So if you wanted to just play the game completely invisible, never can be seen, there is a way to do it. But it does require a bit of work. And it also requires you to kind of like take some time to do that whole quest. Something that Skyrim got right was, hey, like maybe we shouldn't gatekeep. Uh, we should not gatekeep. How do I exit this menu? Oh, duh. Uh, they didn't gatekeep enchanting in Skyrim. You could just enchant right away. It was a separate skill. It was something you can do. There isn't an enchanting skill specifically in this game, and so it's a little different. There's got to be a way for me to check the time. So they have weekdays. They have hours in the day. It's 8 o'clock. So chances are people are. Hello. There are people who are going to do their thing. We can break into their stores after the day ends. If we want to become a thief, you can see that the door is now locked. There's a red symbol on it saying, hey, don't do that. But of course, we're also possibly under the watch of the Imperial Guards. You can tell the difference between a regular Imperial Guard and like a fanciful one, because those wear gold. Another thing that's pretty cool is they have like this arena poster, which is like what they basically used for the Elder Scrolls 1, which was basically called Arena. But for the longest time, I never noticed that this was here, nor did I ever realize that there's an arena for you to fight in and make money and all of the like. So you could imagine finding that out after playing well over hundreds of hours in the game, being like, what do you mean this was here the whole time? And it just was. We can see that the breaches icon did not load correctly. But as I'm hovering over each of these things, you'll notice that none of them are red. And because none of them are red, it means that the game does not consider it theft if I take from them. And so, I'm not above taking a little bit of a donation before we head off. Give me all of your goodies. And what we can do if we wanted to, and I think we'll do it really briefly, is we can take all of these things and make potions out of them. However, when we look at the potions menu, we can see that not only can we make up to 4 ingredients into a singular potion, but there's actually different items we can use to make our potions even better. So you're required by minimum to have a mortar and pestle, but you can add things like a retort, an ombec, and I don't remember the last thing. I think it's a calcinator. I'm not, don't quote me. But basically adding those things make the potions even better. And so what we'll probably do is use the wait function to have the ability to go to the alchemy shop to get one. Because if we steal it, and we could steal it by no means, we could do it. If we steal it, the only problem is if we get caught for any other crime, they will automatically know that it's stolen and therefore take it away from us. So certain items are sometimes better for you to purchase as opposed to steal. Not always, but things like that, things that you want like forever, should be. We can also see that all of these different areas have different kinds of shops. And in this game, you can buy spells instead of like having to like learn them from a book or be taught them by somebody else. But for now, I think we need to go to the Gilded Carafe. And so we're just going to use the wait menu. Your character just stands there silently like this. But they are oh so patient. And so once the waiting's over, the store should be open and we should be good to go. Hello? This is the the DLC, Adore Nibbin Bay. This is what takes you to the Shivering Isles. Let's see if our little friend here has the ability to sell us some good items. She's got them all. So she's got the Ombeck, the Retort, and the Calcinator. We have just enough money to buy one of each of these, which will really make our potions like a little bit better. One of the other things that you might notice is that they all say novice in front. And that's because not only are the items themselves and the skill leveled, but the devices you do too. So as you find more items in the world, you'll find an apprentice mortar and pestle, a master, not a calcinator, and that of course makes all the difference. Thank you very much, Claudette. You'll also notice that if I step over here, which is like a little different from Skyrim, she will follow you to watch you. Not because she automatically thinks you're a criminal, but they do that for every character. Which is such an interesting take because I feel like in Skyrim they just kind of like leave you alone. Like they don't have you do anything. They just kind of stand there. Now if we come back later on, we could steal all this stuff. But then the problem that we have is, well, who do we sell it to? Because you can't sell stolen goods to just about anybody. If we go into the menu now for potion making, we can see that all of the items are automatically selected and we can start making lovely potions. And we're just gonna very quickly create a few, because then we can sell them to our good friend here and make some money. At the top, you'll notice that it also said like, hey, your skills have increased enough that it's time to like kind of level up. Another thing that I didn't know when I originally played this game is that in order to level up, you have to go to sleep. I use the wait menu for everything. And so I was always like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Like I'm still level 1. And behold, if you go to sleep after you level up, besides getting like additional points and like having stronger stats and things like that, you will level up multiple times. It's not just the one time. If you have multiple level ups in the whole, like you've leveled up like 3 times, the game will level you up 3 times. There's not like each one's an individual sleep session, which I think is a good thing. But at the same time, if you're being strategic about it, you might at the same time be like, wait a minute, like I don't want to be level 50 right away to do that. We've made a bunch of potions, so we should be able to sell them back. We're not making a lot of money, so we might not make every single coin we had back. But you know, we can get a good fair sum. We're actually at the amount that we started at, 397. And so these other items can go. Oh, we've got a good fair bit of coin. I'm not used to clicking away to leave the conversation though, because on a controller you just press the back button. We could shop for clothes, we could look for more spells, we can get our own staves, you know, it just really depends on what we want to do. Hello, Edgar. At least he knows his thing. And so we can see he's got different spells in here, you know, and they're all of different areas of magic. The alteration spells, like out of all of the schools of magic in this game, I think are my favorite, just because they're all like, they're not game breakers. They're legit ways to do things. So like one of the things you can do in this game is get feather spells, and basically they up your encumbrance maximum for a temporary set of time. So like let's say you have 200 pounds of things, you can only hold 150. If you cast Ease Burden for the next 4 or so minutes, you get an additional 50 pounds that you can carry. You only need a second of that if you are just going to fast travel, because the game doesn't start the fast travel, estimate how far you're going to go away, and then be like, oop, you got to stop here. The feather spell ended. It just lets you go the whole distance. But it can be incredibly useful. I think there are some spells in here though that we can grab. Um, you can also see that alteration can help us breathe underwater, walk on water, which is pretty cool. But we really don't have the ability to do much right now just because of what we're focused in. We can still buy some of the stuff though, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to use it in the way that we would probably like to. I am going to get water breathing now because even though we can't cast it, it's still going to be extremely helpful when we can. And so with that, we have a few more spells. Minor Detection of Life allows us to, as the name might imply, detect people. And so if we go to that spell and I cast it, anything that is considered a creature, whether it's dead, alive, in a state in between, they get this little glow. And if we're going to be doing a little, sneaking around, it could be really helpful to know if there's somebody on the other side of the door. Um, the mysticism branch of spells in this game really, I would say, weren't as visible in Skyrim, which was really disappointing personally for me. They're having a lovely conversation. Hi, person. Oh, thank you. I only ever wanted a letter. But I think it's time for us to leave. And so, although we can do a whole bunch of different things, I will at least do this first story quest because I believe Joffrey's going to take the Amulet of Kings from us. And if it doesn't need to be in our inventory because we don't get to use it, I'm not going to use it. However, I am going to not automatically go there because you never know what you can find on the journey. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do. You can also play this game in third person, which was a big thing. For me, I wasn't used to playing first person games, and so it was like a good way of getting started. And it just looks so nice. So good laid out. We can cast our spells. We can keep things going. I don't know if you noticed, but when we were playing in the shop, I also grabbed a protect spell, and so that's kind of going to boost our defense. Protect works in both ways, though, right? So it's not just physical attacks; it will also be magical attacks, I believe. Unlike in Final Fantasy, where protect only does physical stuff. You lost against a fish. Oh, a quest. I'm not collecting those skills right now. I refuse. We'll just keep on keeping on. Now the good news is I don't know how we got a world map, but I'll take it. All of the main roads have been laid out, not unsimilarly to Skyrim, but they're a lot more defined. I would assume, I would guess that the imperial city and its people were kind of based off of the Roman Empire, sort of. And so it would just make sense that their roads would be good. It's like the one thing that they're known for. We've got some ruins. We're just taking in the scenes. We can cast Protect, though, just in case. You never know where trouble might be. There's signs that tell us where we're going. We're going to Coral, which is the name of one of the places. And we can keep checking the map if we need to. There's a ruin over there. As we make this trek on over to Coral, and more specifically Waynor Priory, to speak to Joffrey, the Grand Master of the Blades, I don't believe there's a way to sprint, so don't ask me that. Um, but I'll tell you about how uh, I was very fortunate uh, that I was able to get this game as a child, and I'm also really fortunate to have siblings that really like the same things that I do, and so my sister and I used to play this game obsessively. Okay, not just like, oh hey, we would play, or we would fight over who's playing. It would be like, no, no, no. We got to the point where we were able to play side by side. This isn't a multiplayer game, but over the years, I would say like after like a 3-4 year period when they came out with the second version of the Xbox 360, um, my grandmother, who had one for whatever reason, was like, no, you can just have it. No one uses it in the house. We would set up TV side by side and we would just play uh, a second copy of the game together. And we would go on adventures and like, we're not in the same game. It's not a co-op game. But it's just to that level of like, we were really just enjoying the fact that we could do something like this together. Do I think that a game like this could very well be a co-op or multiplayer game? 1,000,000%. Do I think they'll do it? Probably not. Do I think they're wrong? No. I could imagine that any effort they put into making a game that is multiplayer will take away from something else. And if they did that for this game or one similar to it, we would have lost out on quite a bit. Especially for where the game is now. There is fall damage, so we're going to avoid falling off. But we are going to explore to see if there's any money. A dead goblin with nothing on him. Thank you for your money. Oh, gems. Oh, you're also dead. Who killed you? Okay. So we can follow at least one story without taking too much damage, or any at all. Now, oh my goodness! We've been attacked! Please, I don't have any money. I will threaten you. Get away. Leave me alone. You are very tough, my friend. Too bad a headshot doesn't do more damage. Oh, good. The Imperial Guard was still around. Help me! See, now the problem is if I accidentally hit that guard, I'm going to owe a bounty. My personality's being drained. That's rude. There must have been a poison on it. But I'll take all you got. Show me your knickers. Hello? Hello? Oh, you poor, poor rat. And I guess the bandit was doing only what he had to do. That was genuine fear. Hello? Anything for me to take? I'll take it. I did take some damage though, so let's heal up. Unlike illusion spells, like water walking or opening certain things, you can't cheat healing spells to like level up. So I'm at full health right now, and so I won't be able to get that skill up any further until I take more damage. So you have to, the game counts your restoration health based on how much of like actual hit points or health points you recover on yourself or a target. Because there is a spell to heal other people, but it's not a very important one. A little farm. Hello. Are we close by? We're almost there. Can I take these for free? I can. So this is what I mean by 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 just taking people's produce. Because now all of these things will probably work very well together with regards to making a potion. Hello? Any more? We like a watermelon. We found lettuce. This is making me kind of dizzy, if I do say so myself. And then all of these carrots. But it's so important that I take them. Harvest is due soon. You can own a home in this game. You can actually own a home in every major city, which I think is super cool. And that's where we can store all of our good stuff. Now to go meet the people who live here. Hello? Oh, it's locked. They must be away or dead. But we'll come back to that another time. I'm not ready to yet do crime. It is only the first stream for this game. But I am very willing to do a lot of crime in the near future. In fact, one of the things that I'd like to do is this particular playthrough, we can do a perfect notoriety run. I don't know if that's like a thing that people like do in this game, but basically there's actually a screen that records your stats, which I love. Who doesn't love a good stat remark? But one of those things is your fame and infamy stat points. And so as you do quests that are, for the good, you get additional fame points, and that has like a small basis on whether people like you or not. But at the same time, there is this like infamy score. And so as you do things like steal or kill or all of this stuff, those points go up. And what's really interesting, at least I think so, is that there is this DLC called Knights of the Nine. And that is, of course, the 9 gods that, the religion of this game pays towards. And when you do the pilgrimage for the Knights of the Nine quest, it resets your infamy back to 0. So if we do all of the bad things first and then do that quest, we should be able to never have an infamy score at all. And, a little spoiler alert, 15 plus years down the line, when you do the Thieves Guild quest line specifically, you get an item that separates your identity, and so anything you do under that separate identity gets the infamy points instead. So that's a way that I've always said, that's a really good challenge to do, because otherwise you would have infamy points and people would make comments. They would make snide remarks. But once of course you followed the way of the gods, everybody's ready to just forgive you all of a sudden. So I think that's what we'll be doing as we play through. I think what we'll do is we'll just do each guild in order and see where we can go from there. But for right now, at the very least, we're going to give off this amulet to Joffrey, where we're going to be approached by Prior Maborel. I must speak to Joffrey. And to think, if you were just nasty to him and were like, my business is private, he'd be like, oh, okay. Hello, old man. You're an essential character. Oh, I brought you the Amulet of Kings. Or should I just be more, the Emperor sent me to find you. I was there when he died. And now he's upset. He's angry. Oh, please, Joffrey, I have the amulet. Tell him the Emperor's last words. Oh, but what does it mean? Who is the Prince of Destruction? Close shut the jaws of Oblivion. Okay, but hear me out. the world's most powerful seer and emperor of the largest, empire, just told you that they're on their way. You can't just be like, oh no. Also, I have a little tiff with the name of the antagonist, Mehrunes Dagon. It sounds like Mehrunes without the S is his name, and he owns something called it sounds very possessive, if you know what I mean, from a grammatical standpoint.
I'm not sure. Only the emperors truly understand the meaning behind the ritual. The amulet of kings is ancient. See, when an emperor is crowned,
He uses the amulet to light the dragon fires at the temple of the One in the Imperial City.
dead and no new heir crowned. It may be that the dragon fires protected her from
And it's very possible that the dragon fires, as they are not lit, are going to cause an issue.
I am one of the few who know of his existence. One night Muriel called me into his private chamber.
He had a secret child.
Statement of the
But does it surprise you that an emperor had a secret child?
He never told me anything else about the baby, but I knew because now it seems that this illegitimate son is.
But where can I find him, Joffrey? Where?
His name is Martin. He serves Akatosh in the chapel in the city.
One of the gods.
Certainly. You must go to Kvatch and find him at once. If the enemy is aware of him, and please, let me know if there's anything you need.
Oh, please, what can you do for me?
Seriously.
What can you offer me, my good man? It would have been so nice if I could have just taken these things. But we can take these things. So we can take them all. And now we're over encumbered. But that's okay because we have upgrades, people, upgrades. So we've got a better weapon now. I'm gonna be respectful. We're gonna put stuff back in here instead of just leaving it all on the floor. I don't need this. We don't need this anymore. That's heavy, and we don't need that. What else do you got? We've got all this iron stuff that we don't need. I guess we're gonna get naked, okay? Taking those clothes off because he gave us better things. Oh look, we remembered to keep our pants on. Uh, Now light armor is better to wear when it comes to doing things stealthily. It's better to not wear anything at all, especially on your feet. If you can take things off of your feet for stealthing, it increases your ability to do well by a lot. But one step at a time. We've got our armor. We're ready to go. We know where he is now, and now we don't have to think about it. Also, if you can see, there's another room in there, but that's for much later. Hello, Brother Piner. That's the pilgrimage quest we're going to need on later. And here we go.
I'm the shepherd.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Well, I normally stay, but go ahead and take this hammer. Well,
Thank you for your hammer. We're not going to steal a horse right now. But what we are going to do is we're probably going to break into a house right now. I think the best course of action we can take right now is to start having the Thieves Guild alerted to our notice. The Thieves Guild is run by the mysterious Grey Fox. And they take note of people who have stolen quite a bit of goods. Although, of course, it would probably be more intellectual to do it in the Imperial City. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And so I've chosen to start here. And we also need to kind of sell some of our stuff because we do not have a lot of. I almost said we don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of storage space for us to be able to do it. Excuse me. Oh my God. I'm being attacked again everywhere I go. Oh, I'm hiding behind a tree. Oh. We love random hitboxes. Die! I can't believe that. Everywhere we go, we just get stabbed. We didn't deserve this, but I guess it's what we got. Thank you. Am I just going around to town? Did I miss the door? I did miss the door. We could have been safe inside its walls. I know I'm comparing the game a lot right now to Skyrim, but what else would I compare it to? But the reason why I'm doing that so hard is because it's so interesting to see like how far it's come, but at the same time, like what wasn't changed. Like for example, here in Oblivion, all of the towns are enclosed. I think that had something to do with like loading times and things like that. But in order to get into any of the towns, you had to enter through like a gate. And so I just find it so interesting that like in Skyrim they were like, you know what? You know what? We should just make sure everything is open. And that's good. I don't think that's a bad thing. But at the same time, like I could understand why people wouldn't love it. I believe this is one of the houses you can own for sale. All of the homes have nice little names. Hello, little puppies. It's 5 o'clock. Is there a shop nearby where I could sell goods? Rashida! Love, love, love. Now Rashida's got a few options here. We've got leave, we've got, have a good conversation with, which we'll try to do, I guess. Oh, she loves that combo. No, she liked it. She loved it. She needed it. She wanted it. No, we loved it, Rashida. We might actually be able to get her pretty high. Not high. You know what I mean. Okay, we got her as far as we could. Rashida also offers 2 additional services besides being able to buy and sell things. If I remember correctly, not that I specifically remember Rashida, but what I think those 2 things are, one of them is a repair service. So she will repair our things for a fee, of course. I think the other one is a trainer or a training option. So you pay money to just bring your skills up. And so Rashida might be interested in training us how to be an armorer. She herself is a journeyman, which is the level above an apprentice. And so she can only teach us up to that level. And it always costs what the level you would be, the level you're at would be next, times 10. So I think I'm level 25 right now as an armorer. And so because of that, it costs me 250 gold to be able to go to level 26. And so when I'm at level 26, it's going to cost 260. We don't have the money for that, Rashida, so I can't unfortunately have the ability to buy that. But at the same time, I don't think we need to purchase any training levels, especially right now. Another thing they don't tell you is that you're limited to how many trainings you can do per level. So right now, I'm level 1, I can only do training 5 times. And at level 2, I can only do it 5 times. And if you're not careful and you skip levels, you skip the ability to do some of those other things. So if I skip to level 3, it doesn't matter at all for my missed 5. I can't go back. I can't reclaim them. At level 3, I won't have 10 to use or 15 to use if I don't use them at all. It's just 5 per level, which is why you shouldn't rush to level up very quickly, suddenly, for no reason. But at the same time, it happens. Hello, Orgnolf Hairy Legs. Any rumors? Oh, I do like a horse. There's some guards. What is this? Northern Goods and Trade. Sounds like a general store. Now, there might have been certain things that Rashida wouldn't have been willing to buy from us because she by herself was just a was just one option. She just sold weapons and apparel and things like that. And so some of the things that I might have tried to sell her, including some of these clothes, might not have been options. Whereas these other things may very well now be a choice. We can actually probably go into our potion menu and create a few more options. And you can see that this Argonian here is willing to train us in mercantilism, which is not one of our primary skills and is a great way for us to spend some coin to like get good at something that takes a really long time to level up in the first place. In order to do that, though, we kind of need some money. But because we're such the alchemist, we should have the ability to make a bunch of things right now, especially because we visited that that farm. And so as I make all these potions, each click is its own potion. You know, even if they're only worth 5 coins each, it's still a lot of money. Still a lot of items. I think I've made everything that I can thus far, but that's okay. Because over time we'll learn what other items do. You can see that like these flax seeds, for example, have 2 abilities we know about and 2 we have no clue what they do yet. If we know what they do, though, we can actually apply them right away. We don't have to wait for the game to unlock these abilities if we know what they are. So, like, I think garlic and I don't think we have it here, but garlic and another item make like invisibility or like a cure disease potion. And so if we find that in a note, if we find that information within a book, it might not automatically get added to that ingredient, but it might very well tell us, hey, as the player, if you know this, go ahead and make it. You don't have to wait for me. You don't have to wait for the game to do that. And we've made some pretty good options. We've got a pretty good health potion here now, but we could sell those, especially since we can heal ourselves and nothing right now is like slamming us into the dirt to the point where we're losing everything. You can also see that there are potions. So if you are not a magic person in this game, you can still make quite a bit. You'll also notice that our potion of healing that has like a rating of 90 something is only 43 for our good Argonian Seed Neas here. We might be able to get her to like us a little bit more. Selling her things, buying things from her gets her to like us more. But there might be a chance for us to have her like us through speechcraft. It's kind of hard to tell a little bit for a Argonian, but you know, it's not too bad. Um, we're getting somewhere. We're at 46. And at higher levels, you actually get like free rotations. So like you'll see I had to pick between making a great comment or picking something pretty bad. But later on, because your speechcraft is so good, it's kind of like you get to turn the wheel a little bit and do a little bit more. Now if I try to sell that potion to her, maybe it'll be worth more. It's still 43 though. And so either her disposition didn't matter enough or there just wasn't enough of a skill increase for it to do any benefit. But we are making our money. We are collecting our dollars. And we can put some of this money into that training. So that way, when we level up, we're not losing out on the 5. And so we're already level 9. Now we're level 10. Now we're level 11, 12, 13, 14. Or so we should be. We can't train again, because again, you only get 5 per level. But we've increased that skill 5 times now. And so if we look underneath our skills, wherever mercantilism is hiding, we're not just at level 9 anymore. Another thing that's really great is they keep your progress. So we were like in the middle of progression in mercantilism from all the things we've sold. And so the game isn't like, well, screw you, figure it out. Um, it's like you worked hard. Oh, excuse me, Dharma. Yes, I am. It's pleased to meet you. Your mother would be pleased to meet me? I just spoke to her. Does that mean you want me to go back to talk to her, or maybe it was, or are you just helping people out? You're helping advertise the shop. Sometimes it's not always so clear. Now, what we do need to do is we need to kind of find an inn. This place, the Oak and Crociere, might be an option, or it could be a place where they sell weapons and herbs. It looks like a tavern, though. I don't know why you have this upper piece with no glasses on it, but go on. Can I have a bed, please? Only for 10 gold? Absolutely. And this is what's going to allow us to level up. So up the stairs, first one on the left. Now, if I tried to go into a room and I tried to sleep on this bed without paying, it would say that the bed is not owned by me and it wouldn't let me sleep on it. And so that's just something you have to kind of keep in mind when you are doing things. One of the other things we're going to do is actually we're going to wake up at midnight. And you can see that based on what skills we've upgraded depends on what pluses we get. Now, the game's not going to apply all of these pluses, okay? What it's instead going to do is allow you to pick up to 3 of them to actually do an increase for. You could pick anything you want. Like, you could pick luck, but it only goes up by 1. If you want it to go up by a lot, though, you have to pick the skills that have the pluses next to it. Now, the downside or the issue here is, right, how are these pluses decided? How did the game say, oh, well, this is what you get? And this is based on the skills that you've upgraded. And so we didn't use a lot of our magic skill level ups, increases, if you will, to justify this. But we did increase our stealth quite a bit. We did increase some of our acrobatic skill. And so you can see that that is what determines whether or not we level up. And when we exit this menu, it's going to apply those settings. We don't have enough, we do have enough points, excuse me, to level up again. So it seems like, interestingly, on the PC version at least, it separates level ups. Whereas on the computer, on the console, it did not do that, which I think is very interesting. But as we go out into the world, we're actually going to do a little bit of stealth. We're actually going to go and see if we can steal something from somebody down here in Coral. Will we get caught? Maybe. Is it the end of the world? Probably not. We're not going to steal from a bookstore. I'm not above stealing from a church, but they probably don't have much. There's a guard right there. But these little homes might be good. But people might be sleeping inside. So, like, you have to, like, balance it out. There's poor people over there. I refuse to take from the poor. We could go to somebody who's rich. They have a big house. We could see if we get a little something from them. But it might not. It may or may not work. We'll find out. We wouldn't want to go to one of the guilds because there seems to always be somebody awake from there. You are not wearing a shirt, but I have no words for you. And I think if we remember correctly, the dogs went into that one. So we wouldn't want to do that either. But it seems like there are people who are still awake. Rundown hut. We could go steal from the castle. That could be something too. It just depends on what we're trying to accomplish. Do they have a back door? Is that what I'm seeing? And so we kind of want to prep before we go in. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not wearing this heavy stuff. We can wear clothes, like that's not a problem, but there's really no point because it's really just the feet that matter. We also don't need our weapons, but again, doesn't really affect what we're doing. What we do want to do is we just want to be careful when we go inside. We want to go slow. So we're going to make sure that we put on, our slow speed. And we want to just make sure that we're not too noticeable. Now, there's every given chance that once we step inside, somebody will be here, but there doesn't seem to be anybody. So we'll take that. We'll see if we can break into here. Now, fortunately, when you're in a menu in this game, nothing is happening. So that's always good. And it seems like we're getting somewhere. Now, somebody might be home. And that's a little bit of a danger we have to play. They're right there. But it doesn't mean that we're not welcome. Technically, the door was open. And so, as we slowly come up the stairs, we might get lucky and not be seen by anybody. And maybe if we head all the way up to the top, they might have a little extra jewelry or money up here. Of course, this could also just be an exit to outside, but we're going to find out. Oh, it loads to a new location. Okay, so we've got somebody sleeping on the bed. We could pickpocket them. That's not a problem. But at the same time, like, that would probably wake them up. Let's see. If we just quietly steal, we don't really have to worry so much. They've got this big book. Now, there are certain books in the game that will give you stat increases. That is similar to Skyrim. But we just got to be careful, You never know what we may or may not find. This woman seems to be pretty poor for a person who has a 3-floor house. But we're going to figure it out. And we've got enough picks to make sure that even if we mess up, we'll be good to go. She's got some expensive stuff. We'll take it. And she didn't even wake up. Maybe we'll pull a Santa Claus. And just be like, we'll take it. We'll take it for the road. There's a big book. And now we're back outside. So I don't know if we can jump through this. But at least we're in a public spot again. Hello? And now we're on the roof. Whether that matters or not, I don't know. But we did pretty good for our first theft. We're also learning some secret information. People are talking about other people. But we can come down from the roof. No one's going to question that. You'll notice that anything we've stolen now, though, has this little red icon, like a red hand. That means it's stolen. And so if I try to go to like a store to sell this, it's not going to show up. The game, I don't know how it knows, but apparently, like, the suggestion is that if you had shown this to a merchant, they would know that it's stolen. I don't think that's true, but it's what the game plays on to kind of balance who you can or can't sell things to. We are going to, however, reuse some of these things. Now, the good thing is if you use a stolen item in a potion, the game will, of course, create a new item, the potion itself. And that potion won't be marked as stolen. If we commit a crime, if we get taken to prison, if we pay our fines to, it'll come to me. If we pay our fines to, like, get rid of the bounty on us, the guard will always still search us to say like, oh, we have to make sure you have no stolen property on you, and they always find it. You can't hide it. That's one of the things that I would like to see changed, like in future Elder Scroll games, Fallout games. Well, actually, nothing gets marked stolen. I don't think. Like you can steal, but I don't think it's marked as stolen in Fallout. But in Starfield too. So that the new game that's coming out through Bethesda, who made, of course, the Elder Scrolls. Um, there's like a scene in their gameplay trailer where um, you're on your ship returning to like I wouldn't call it a base, but you're returning to a planet, and the planet like somehow the people on the planet, I should say, the planet's not alive. The people on the planet somehow, some way, scan your ship for stolen contraband. And for me, I would love for there to be a way for you to hide it somehow. Like, you can sell stolen goods to a fence in the Elder Scrolls, and then when you buy it back, it's not marked as stolen anymore. But I think that's more of like an oversight than anything else. Excuse me, ma'am, what are you doing? Um, but at the same time, like I could understand, like it's a interesting and difficult system to figure out. Um, I guess we're gonna steal from the inn. Thank you for all your money. I'll take it all. She went to sleep. I mean, it is 3 in the morning, so I understand. But she also decided that I wasn't able to keep access to my bed through the rest of the night. So there's that. Um, that's another thing that I would say. If I killed her, right? If I took her out, she's a non-essential character. I could. The game would just say, okay, you killed her, great. But the issue we have that I take to the floor for this is that she won't be replaced. So there won't be another innkeeper. And therefore, it makes things a lot harder for you to progress through the game. So you could kill everybody, but the world would become very empty. And that's not fun. However, if you are in a murderous interest, there is a whole guild known as the Dark Brotherhood that purveys to that exact need. And obviously, this harder lock is winning a little bit. Oh my goodness. Come on, you can do it. So you can see the harder locks have a little bit more specificity to it. Like you need to really click at the moment it's at the top. And of course, besides there being more, I think they're called tumblers, uh, being more tumblers on a harder difficulty, when you get them wrong, they all come down. Hello, anybody here? Can't sleep in the bed because I don't own it. There's a jewelry box in here. Come on, you can do this. I think there's like a specific level of monetary value you need to steal for you to get noticed by the Thieves Guild. Though, if I'm being completely honest with you, I can't remember how it starts. I think you need to speak to the beggars in the Imperial City and ask them about the Gray Fox. But at the same time, I can't distinctly remember what triggers it off. I'm fairly certain for the Dark Brotherhood, which is the Assassin's Guild, I think you can just kill anybody and they show up. Unlike in Skyrim, where you have to you trigger the starting off point through a very specific quest. This is me in a few years. In the middle of a graveyard, drunk in my cups. Hello? Hello? stuck on the wall. We're just jumping around. Maybe we will try now to go to the waterfront. This is where the beggars are most closely associated with the Gray Fox. In fact, there's even a poster right here. The Gray Fox, wanted for theft, embezzlement, forgery, pickpocketing, counterfeiting, burglary, conspiracy to commit theft, grand larceny, tax evasion, slander, fraud, perfidy. I've never even heard of that word. Very interesting. There should be a few little homes. Interestingly, you can own a home in the Imperial City, but it is in fact a shack. It is, I don't remember which shack, but it is a shack. And I think it's that one right there. You can own a tiny little home of your own choosing. Of course, we don't have the money to buy that house right now, but it'll be on our to-do list. Hello. Excuse me. All I wanted to do was say hello, but I guess I'm trash. You should see where you're living. I see we've got a pirate. Got a few pirates. Boarded up windows. See, why couldn't I have bought that? The Imperial Trading Company office. Everything's got a little name. The warehouse. Okay, not everything needs to be a command, you know. Perhaps if I go into the abandoned shack, because I know that that's related to it. I just don't exactly remember how. We can figure out what's what. Oh, I forgot I unequipped my weapons and stuff. Hello? Okay, you don't need to be so nasty. Ah, so that's what you say now, but if I increased my... if I increased our rapport together, would you perhaps change your mind? Okay. We're getting there. I don't know exactly what we need to get to make him happy with us, but I'll take it. What about the Gray Fox now? Oh, you don't know anything. Do you need a little dollar? A little more? Oh, you really don't know anything, do you? Yeah, you know nothing. I just wasted money on you. Because I'm on the lam. We need to go find a person that doesn't own any money. Hello? You look like you have no money. Okay. Not poor, just no fashion. Maybe we can try going to another district. There's gotta be somebody in the market begging for coin. Ah, Simplicia the Slow. Of course you can have a coin. Absolutely. But let's talk some more. What do you like? What do you want? You don't like that. You don't like that. Oh, you love being admired. How do I continue on this path of yours, Simplicia? He's a fairy tale. You love how she just makes it up. But what if we stoke the flames a little bit, Simplicia? Oh, come on. You know you can tell me. You can tell. We're friends. I am looking for him. Yes, I want to work with him. Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely. And I like that. Like, I like how there was a trick to having to find it. It wasn't like, oh, I ran across a person who was like, oh, do you want in? And that's not me taking shots at like Skyrim or anything, but it's just like, it's subtler. It's not as obvious. Like, you have to really want it. You have to look for it. You have to want it as opposed to it just being like, oh, you started a quest, you're in it. Like, there's like an illicit piece of it. Now, where this particular garden is, I don't know off the top of my head, but fortunately, we have a lovely map, and the game can tell us exactly where we need to go. I think it's this right here, but just, just right here. Nothing crazy. And all I'm going to do is wait till midnight. I don't know how my character waits that long, but he do. And so who am I to challenge it? We're going to stop at 11:40. See if we can see them arriving. Or maybe they'll already be there. No one's here yet. Armand Christophe. You're wearing a fancy little thing. Currently, I'm not seen. I almost made a joke and said, and like children, I shouldn't be heard. But I don't actually believe that. Hello. Oh, you're all very important people.
So, you are looking for the Thieves Guild as well? I've been preparing to join the guild for years.
Oh, a Thieves Guild hopeful. Do I know you? Absolutely, Armand. No. Excuse me. You just said it was fine. Here, take some money. Oh, really? Oh, I'm still dressed like a beggar. A contest? He's right. I like how they're like, oh, you can't murder.
Ha! I'll have it before sunrise.
I know. We're not murderers. I understand. Okay, but the good news is we can figure this out. We are going to win this silly competition. And then we're going to watch Meredith, Meanderthal, I don't know her name. I already forgot it. I will watch her suffer. Well, not actually suffer, but you know what I mean. Hello, beggar, wake up. I have information I doth seek. Absolutely, have a coin. He has 5 coins. He lives on the Temple District. See, was that so hard? A little bit of money, a little bit of smiles. Look, there she goes. She thinks that she's gonna find an elf in the Elven District. Rather presumptuous of her. Oh, but you don't want my mouth. Okay. I think this is the Temple District right here. The only thing we want to make sure is we want to make sure our feet are nice and clear. Because I'm telling you, it makes a difference. We can wear everything we want to the party, but the second we wear things on our shoes, people are very much quicker able to hear us. A spell that I really liked they added in Skyrim that helped out thieves was the muffle ability. Oh, that ability, intellectual, makes you silent. Is this your house? Is this your house? Is this your house? No. This is your house. Okay, so we're gonna quick save. We're gonna drop to our legs. We're gonna slow down. And hopefully, if we're lucky, he'll be asleep. Listen, it's... You can go to the basement? Wouldn't it be next to his bed?
You're too late.
Oh. Interesting. Did I lose it? Did I miss out? Did she beat me to it? Is that what happened? Hold on. That's why we have the ability to go backwards. Hello. Thank you so much. I got it, girl. I stole it. Yeah, well, that's just too bad. That's what you got. Now, I think if she steals it first, you have to steal it from her. Um, but whatever. We didn't see that happen. It is what it is. I am missing the ability to sprint right now, but I guess it's better than walking at this speed the whole game. One of the things that I liked that they added to this game, I played Morrowind only like 2 years ago, but one of the things that I love that they changed from Morrowind to this game is that in Morrowind, if I pulled out a spell or swung my knife or whatever, even if I directly hit them, the game had a chance of missing. Like it was like both like you need to hit them and statistically aim in the right direction. And I don't like that because if I'm spending the effort to aim, the game should just be like, here you go, you got it. In this one, every hit you make counts. What are the 3 rules, Armand? Tell me. What are the 3 rules? I could never. So it's fine if I kill when I'm not on the job. And what's the 3rd? So don't steal from the poor. It's like we were already doing that. I can come and speak to Armand to pay off any bounties that I have, which is great. Um, and he can tell us more about what it is, you know? But what is a joy in? So tell me, what is my job? Do you got any jobs for me? Tell me more. Give me a special job. So we basically just need to now sell all of our stolen goods. Uh, the question, of course, is then where do we sell them to? And you know, Manj told us exactly where we need to go. We need to go speak to Angar the Fence, who lives in Bruma. So we probably have at least 50 uh, coins for what we need to sell it to. So we really just need to find him and be like, "Hello, buddy, take some of my money." Um, but we'll see about that. I also like how this area is snowy. Hello? Is anybody home? Which house are you in? This one? Oh, Angar. You seem to be sleeping. I do need a fence, Angar. Tell me more. Okay, so that's 29, 30, 40, 48, 49, 50. Okay, so we should have enough to be able to do the first special job. But we're not going to rush into it right away. The fact is, we can do it. Of course, if we had more money, that would, of course, work out in our benefit. But it's not the end of the world. Um, I completely forgot that they based it on how much you've sold. One of the things that's missing from this game that they realized they needed to do in Skyrim was like give people more of a chance to like do multiple things multiple times. Like there's no radiant quest system in this game, which is what it's called in Skyrim, where guilds have jobs that never end. They will just be constant jobs over and over and over again. They'll just randomize from a list and be like, have at it, go for it, live your best life. And I think that's because they were just so focused on storytelling in this one. And there's just so much to do. So to just be fair with you, like, you could play this game for hours and never have anything else to do. But the idea that there will come a time where the quests that you like to do, like murdering or stealing or saving the world or whatever, will come to an end was obviously a problem for players who do sink hours of their time into a game like this. Um, Fortunately, we now have provided enough money for us to be able to take our first job. However, again, not our direct focus right now. I think we're going to do two more things for today at least. That first thing is going to be going to an area down south, and that area is called Leowin. And the reason for that is, if I remember correctly, there is a specific magic store here or an area to buy money. Not buy money, that's a silly turn of phrase. But there is supposed to be like a shop that you can buy from. It might be this one that has like sometimes it's more better quality than you need to. Like they sell this weapon, which is amazing. Um, but I'm just double checking to see where it is. You also do training. Oh, no, you don't. I read it wrong. Maybe you do training. And you're an armorer trainer too. So trying to get these 5 levels in, but again, not in our major skills, because if we did that, we're basically just fast tracking ourselves to level up. I do want to, though, be able to sell any of our remaining goods, right? We have so many things that we just don't need. And then I do want to go back to Coral, if I remember correctly, to do a little bit more of the mercantilism training, because that's what's going to get us a lot of money. The more we know, um, the more of we that skill is higher, the better we will be at collecting good dollars. And I really do think that in this game, money makes the world go round. So we're going to need quite a bit of coin, which I don't know if we're going to have enough to do 5 level ups, but it's at least a start. We can probably get away with 2 right now, unless we, of course, have more things to make potions out of. Make me a potion. Anything out of this? Nope. You can make wrong potions if you wanted to, but it's not always recommended. It's not like making a disgusting thing in, like, Legend of Zelda. Let's see. Anything else we can make right now? Doesn't seem like it. But the other trick is to see if they have anything that we can buy from them. He's only selling potions, though. We need somebody who sells delicious ingredients for us to use. And I could have sworn that there was some type of shop here that had a lot of alchemic reagents. But the mind is a fickle thing, and I can't remember everything all at once. Is it over here? We've got a Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, a place that sells books. But I don't see what I need. So maybe it's not here. I'll be honest, I can't remember everything. So we'll just head back to Coral and do our little bit of training that we can, and we'll call it a day. We'll call it a good start. From there, I think we're going to do things like we'll do things like the Thieves Guild quest, then we'll do, of course, the Dark Brotherhood, and we'll eventually make our way around for all of it. It's just a matter of time getting towards it. It's 9 in the morning. Let me in, please. Argonians are so respectful. They don't even need to be, and they just are. Okay, you don't have any delicious items, but I can sell you delicious items. And now train me. We're short. I need 180 for this level, and then we need 190. So we kind of need to, like, just double, a little bit more than double our coin right now. Shouldn't be too difficult if we can just find some ingredients. But that's something that we'll figure out as we continue to move. Actually, hold on. Hold on. We are finding free food. Somebody left this all out just for us. We're on to something. Give me everything I need. Yes, that's right. And of course, later on, we can always go and steal 100 grapes at our convenience. But that won't be enough. But it'll get us close enough. Excuse me, Dharma. I must speak to your mother, Sidneus. And so really we just need 150 more gold to do this final level before we can level up one more time. Of course, that doesn't mean that we should level up immediately, because it may mean that we should first do something like level up some of our other skills. So that way when we level up, it gives us a cute, nice little stat boost. We want +5s for the 3 skills that we pick. And so if they're not there, you know, we want to fix that. Whether that might be increasing some of our magic abilities by spamming them, basically, or leveling up some of our other skills, which could also be a solution as well. But in terms of how to make money, I think we're going to have to get a lot of that from stealing. Everybody starts from somewhere, okay, and that's okay. But for right now, we will pick up later. And I guess I'll see y'all next time. I gotta figure out how to get out of the game, though. It's been a while since we saved. Is this the right direction? Is this where I need to go? So again, thanks so much for hanging out. I'm going to keep playing this every Sunday until I get bored or I get obsessed with Starfield. Probably both. But have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.